So today I'm here to talk to you about my prior knowledge interview with the two students that I chose, the paper that I wrote, my findings, and everything that deals with that. So I chose two students that I coach with who I won't name, but one of them is a 17-year-old high school senior, and the other is a 15-year-old high school sophomore. The reason I chose a senior and a sophomore was because this paper and interview was about gauging prior knowledge and the importance of prior knowledge and learning. And a senior in high school is going to have much, in theory, should have much more prior knowledge available to him or her than, say, a sophomore would. And I know they're only 2 years apart, but if you think about the maturity level, the knowledge gained in those 2 years that are, that separate the two, it's a great deal of both. So I thought having two high school age kids about a couple years apart was a good choice. And from it, what I really found is that being interested in school or a certain subject or a content area or maybe even just a unit makes all the difference in the world when learning about something and activating prior knowledge to learn more about, or I guess build upon the educational base that you already have. One of the students that I interviewed, the sophomore, in terms of history, he was completely disinterested. He felt that teachers didn't make the class, I guess, interesting enough for him specifically to want to learn. So there was no incentive for him, to gain, knowledge or, any want to learn the material that was being presented to him. Whereas the senior who was so-so about history, it wasn't his favorite class or it wasn't his least favorite class, he was able to, during the interview rattle off, I guess, more facts when just say he was talking about, for instance, the Great Depression. He knew when it was, what some of the causes and effects of it were, all that. Whereas a sophomore, they learned about that not, a couple years ago, but, he couldn't remember any of the information. He basically gave me an I don't know answer for all the questions I was asking him. So not only is it interest on part of the students, but that's a responsibility of the teacher, I feel, as well. You have to, whether or not you believe history or chemistry or algebra is the most exciting subject in the world, you've got to present it that way. It's got to be, if you don't show initiative and you don't show interest in what you're teaching, should you really expect as a teacher the students to return that interest? Or I guess they will return the lack of interest is what I should say. So as far as, all that stuff impacts, I guess, what I will do in the future in my classroom, I'd like to say my classroom is going to be student-oriented and focused on student interests. As I said, without an interest in what you're learning, learning probably is not going to take place. That also goes on to I guess the methods used in the classroom. Using things like experiential exercises or visual discovery or differentiation in small or large group work, anything that gets the students, maybe moving around the classroom or gets away from simply lecturing at the students where they just take notes, that kind of stuff will keep students on their toes and involved in the class and therefore more apt to be interested in what they're learning. You can take something, for instance, I always found Reconstruction really, really boring when I was going through school. But if you can get the students involved in the lesson, maybe have them empathize with, Southern people during Reconstruction, or maybe a Northern person coming down to take advantage. I believe they were called carpetbaggers. Don't Mark me down if that's wrong. But, coming down to the South, make some money. If you can get them empathizing with people from that time period and, involved in, just maybe just mentally, it doesn't even have to be physically in the lesson, the results you're going to get are going to be far more, I guess, not advantageous, that's not the word I'm looking for. They're going to be far more successful than what they would be if you just, simply presented the students with a bunch of information and had them read a textbook every night. So it really all comes down to, I guess, being able to actively activate prior knowledge in such a way that students can then build on what they have learned to expand on what they are going to learn or what they are learning. I guess that is the key to prior knowledge in the learning process. And I mean, it's not an easy task by any means, so it's not like anybody can do it. But that doesn't mean that you can't try and, I guess, invigorate your classroom so you give students the opportunity to learn, not just telling them that they have to learn. So, that's it. I'll talk to you guys later.